The most powerful man in Hong Kong never saw it coming. One moment, he stands on his penthouse balcony, looking down at the city he controls. The next, the glass railing shatters beneath him. His body plummets 20 stories, crashing onto the pavement below. The crowd gasps. Phones come out. Cameras flash. Within minutes, the world is watching. But this is no ordinary death. This man was untouchable, surrounded by security, protected by power. Yet, there was no sign of forced entry, no struggle, no gunshot. Investigators replay the surveillance footage, analyzing every second. The glass had been sabotaged, subtle, undetectable, designed to fail at the perfect moment. Only one assassin in history had ever executed kills this flawlessly. And he was Jason Statham. News channels go into a frenzy. Every major network broadcasts the shocking revelation. The ghost assassin is back. The words flash across television screens, newspaper headlines, and online articles. The world believes Jason has returned. Now, in a darkened room thousands of miles away, Jason watches the news, his jaw tightening. He did not kill that man. But someone wants the world to believe he did. And if they are using his name, it means one thing: his past is coming for him. If Jason Statham is your favorite hero, like and subscribe to show. And comment why you love him. Istanbul is a city that never stops moving. The streets are alive with people, the air thick with the scent of spices and the distant hum of conversation. But in a quiet corner of the city, tucked away from the chaos, a man lives in complete silence. He walks unnoticed, just another face in the crowd, never drawing attention to himself. Jason Statham has spent years perfecting the art of disappearing. No records, no digital footprint, no connections. To the world, he does not exist. He has lived under many names, in many cities, always staying ahead of anyone who might be looking for him. He never looks over his shoulder, because he never needs to. There is no one alive who can find him. At least, that is what he thought. Tonight, Jason sits in his dimly lit apartment, sipping black coffee, watching the city from his window. The lights flicker in the distance, reflections bouncing off the Bosphorus. He enjoys the silence, the solitude. It is the kind of peace only a man like him can appreciate, until his phone screen lights up. It is an encrypted message. No sender. No location. Just a single line of text. A code. Jason recognizes it instantly. It is not just any code, it is a message from his past, one that should never have resurfaced. It is a sequence he used in his Black Ops days, a signal for urgent, classified contact. He stares at it for a moment, his grip tightening around the phone. He deletes it. Whatever this is, he wants no part of it. His past is dead, and he intends to keep it that way. Jason exhales slowly, shutting the phone off. He leans back in his chair, watching the city, willing the moment to pass. But it does not. The hair on the back of his neck stands up. His instincts, the ones he has spent years suppressing, suddenly scream at him. Something is wrong. Then, a faint click from the front door. Jason moves before he even thinks. A breach. In an instant, the calm is shattered. The door bursts open, shadows flood in, and the first attacker lunges. Jason sidesteps effortlessly, grabbing the man's arm, twisting it until he hears the sickening crack of bone. The second attacker swings a knife, but Jason moves faster. A sharp elbow to the throat, a knee to the ribs, and the man is down. The third one is smarter. He pulls a silenced pistol, but Jason is already closing the distance. He disarms him in seconds, snapping his wrist, sending the gun skidding across the floor. The man barely has time to react before Jason drives him into the wall with a force that knocks the air from his lungs. The silence returns, but the room is now littered with bodies. Jason stands over them, his breathing steady. He looks at the men, then back at his phone. Whoever sent that message did not expect him to ignore it. Jason stands in the middle of the wreckage, his apartment now a graveyard of silence. 3 bodies lie motionless, but one man still breathes. The one Jason slammed against the wall is slumped over, clutching his shattered wrist, gasping for air. Jason steps toward him, calm, controlled, his eyes scanning the man's face. He is not just some hired gun. He knows something. Jason crouches, gripping the man's collar, forcing him to look up. "Who sent you?" His voice is low, steady. The man groans but does not answer. His training is clear. Die before you talk. Jason does not have time for that. Without hesitation, he presses his thumb into the assassin's broken wrist. The man thrashes, gritting his teeth, a muffled scream escaping his lips. "Who sent you?" Jason repeats, his grip unrelenting. Through ragged breaths, the man finally gasps out a name. Spectre. Jason's expression does not change, but something inside him stills. Spectre. A name buried deep in his past. A name he never wanted to hear again. Jason tightens his grip. Spectre is dead. The assassin lets out a weak, painful laugh. No, he is back. And he wants you erased. Jason's jaw clenches. Spectre was more than a handler. He was a strategist, a manipulator, a ghost maker. He did not just train killers, he owned them, controlled them, used them until they were disposable. Jason was one of his finest creations. Then he walked away. And no one walks away. Jason stares at the assassin, calculating his next move. Why now? Why come after me? The man's breathing is labored, but the smirk on his face remains. Because the world thinks you are back. Jason does not react, but his mind is already putting the pieces together. The man coughs, his voice growing weaker. You did not kill that man in Hong Kong, did you? Jason still does not answer. The assassin chuckles again, though it costs him. Someone is using your name, your techniques, your reputation. The world believes the ghost assassin has returned. And Spectre cannot allow that. Jason's grip tightens for a brief moment. His name had been erased from existence years ago. He made sure of it. He walked away from a life that never allowed loose ends. Now, someone was dragging him back. But the bigger question remains. Who? Jason studies the dying man. His clothes are tactical but not standard issue. His boots are military grade, but the brand is recent, not from Jason's time in the shadows. The small details stand out. This assassin is trained, but not like Jason. He is newer, sloppier. A soldier, not a ghost. That means Spectre is still building his network. He is replacing men like Jason. Jason leans in, voice colder. Where is Spectre now? The assassin's smirk lingers, his breath shallower. He exhales slowly, voice barely above a whisper. Already watching you. His body slumps. He is gone. Jason lets go of him, standing up slowly. He looks around his apartment. His cover is completely blown. The door hangs loose from its frame, bullet holes line the walls, furniture shattered. This is a message. Jason walks over to the first assassin he took down and searches his pockets. No ID, no wallet, no personal effects. Whoever hired them made sure they left no loose ends. He moves to the second body. Same thing. They were sent to erase him, not capture him. Jason kneels beside the third man, the one who spoke. He pulls back the sleeve of his tactical jacket. A tattoo. Small, almost unnoticeable. A symbol. Jason recognizes it. It is from the old Black Ops program. The same program Spectre ran. His chest tightens. Spectre is not just back. He is rebuilding. Jason stands, glancing at his phone still lying on the floor. He picks it up, turning it over in his palm before pressing the power button. The message from earlier is still there. The encrypted code. The warning. He ignored it. And now they are here. Jason inhales slowly. He cannot stay in Istanbul. This city is burned. His instincts scream for him to disappear again, to vanish before another team arrives. But Jason is tired of running. If Spectre thinks he can erase him like another failed experiment, he is wrong. Jason clenches his jaw, slipping his phone into his pocket. It is time to hunt the hunter. Jason moves swiftly through the darkened streets of Istanbul, his mind racing. The assassins sent after him were not ordinary killers. They bore the mark of a Black Ops program that should have been buried years ago. The tattoo was a message, a signature from his past. Jason knows Spectre's tactics. Spectre never operated without a financial backbone. Training operatives, equipping hit squads, and running global assassinations required serious funding. If Spectre was back, then his money had to be moving somewhere. And money always leaves a trail. Jason cannot stay in Istanbul. The next attack will be bigger, more precise. He needs to move first. Jason retrieves a hidden laptop from a secure locker, one of many he has stashed around the world. The device is loaded with encrypted access to old intelligence networks, systems Jason was never supposed to see again. He connects to a dormant Black Ops database, the same one Spectre once used to manage global contracts. Most of it is locked down, wiped clean over the years. But Jason is not looking for names. He is looking for movement. He runs a search. Within seconds, he finds something unusual. Offshore accounts that had been inactive for years are suddenly live again. Large sums of money are being moved, funding something big. Jason's eyes narrow. One of the accounts is routing transactions through Bangkok. A name appears, Varga. Jason knows him well. A black market intelligence broker. A man who trades in secrets, selling information to the highest bidder. If Spectre is moving money through Bangkok, then Varga knows about it. Jason shuts the laptop and secures it. He has his lead. Bangkok is next. Jason arrives under a new identity, his past erased once again. The city is alive with chaos, flashing neon lights, crowds spilling into the streets, the hum of distant music. It is the perfect place to disappear. And the perfect place to hide secrets. Varga operates out of a high-end nightclub, a front for his real business, selling intelligence to criminals, mercenaries, and corrupt officials. He does not deal with walk-ins. But Jason is not here to ask. The club is well guarded. 2 men at the entrance, another watching from across the street. Standard protocol. But Jason does not use the front door. He moves through a side alley, finding an access point, a fire escape leading to the private offices upstairs. He scales the metal ladder quickly, cutting the alarm wires with a flick of his knife before slipping inside. Varga sits at his desk, typing away at his laptop. He does not hear Jason enter. "You are getting careless, Varga." Varga freezes. He turns slowly, his expression shifting from annoyance to realization. "Jason Statham. I thought you were dead." Jason steps forward, unshaken. "That makes 2 of us." Varga leans back, forcing a smirk. "If you are here, it means you need something. Information is not free." Jason does not respond. He pulls a flash drive from his pocket and tosses it onto the desk. It contains encrypted access to the offshore accounts linked to Spectre's network. Varga's smirk fades. He plugs in the drive, his expression shifting from confidence to tension as he scans the data. "Where did you get this?" Jason's voice remains calm. "It was paying for the men who tried to kill me last night." Varga exhales sharply. If Spectre is moving this kind of money, he is not working alone. Jason watches him carefully. Who is handling the transactions? Varga hesitates. Jason steps forward, gripping his wrist and twisting just enough to make him wince. "I do not have time for hesitation." Varga grits his teeth. The payments are being funneled through Dubai. A financial ghost is handling them. Someone who launders money for people who do not exist. A name. Varga hesitates, but Jason does not let go. Adrian Knox. Jason stares at him. Knox is the contact. Varga nods. Knox does not deal with middlemen. If Spectre is paying him, it means they are working together at the highest level. Jason processes the information. Dubai. That is his next move. But something feels off. A vibration. A phone buzzes on Varga's desk. Varga glances at it, and in that split second, Jason sees the panic in his eyes. Jason picks up the phone. One unread message. Stall him. Jason looks back at Varga. You should have told me the truth. Before Varga can respond, a gunshot rips through the room. Blood splatters across the desk as Varga jerks forward, his body slumping. Sniper. Jason reacts instantly. Flipping the desk over, he takes cover. A second shot shatters the window behind him. They are repositioning. Jason does not wait. He grabs Varga's laptop, shoves it into his bag, and moves toward the balcony. A third shot cracks through the air just as Jason kicks open the door. He leaps onto the fire escape, descending 3 stories in seconds. The street below is crowded, his cover. He blends in, walking quickly, disappearing into the night. This was never about killing him in Bangkok. It was about cutting off his access to information. But Spectre miscalculated. Jason got what he needed. Dubai is next. And this time, he will not be the one running. Jason moves through the congested streets of Dubai, his hood pulled low, blending into the crowd. The city is alive with wealth and power, its skyline dominated by towering glass structures, symbols of untouchable influence. But Jason knows there is no such thing as untouchable. After escaping Bangkok with Varga's laptop, he spent the last 24 hours decrypting the files. Spectre's financial operations were complex. Offshore accounts, shell companies, blind trusts. But one name kept appearing in every major transaction: Adrian Knox. Knox is not just a billionaire. He is a financial manipulator, a man who launders money for governments, criminal syndicates, and black ops programs that do not officially exist. Spectre's entire operation flows through him. Now, Jason stands across the street from Knox's fortress, a high-security skyscraper with a private penthouse at the top. He is going in. Jason moves toward the service entrance at the back of the building. Front doors are for people who want to be seen. He is not one of them. The first security guard never sees him coming. A precise strike to the throat silences him instantly. Jason catches the body before it hits the ground, dragging it into the shadows. Inside, the building is a maze of restricted floors, biometric scanners, and heavily armed security. But Jason has already mapped out the building's blueprints. Knox has a weakness: a maintenance elevator that bypasses the main security checkpoints. Jason enters an empty service hallway, disabling a surveillance camera with a small device. He cannot leave a trace. Reaching the elevator, he opens a vent at the top and climbs inside, ascending toward the penthouse. The doors open on the top floor. 2 guards stand outside Knox's office, unaware of their fate. Jason moves fast. The first guard hears a shift in the air, but it is too late. Jason's blade slides across his throat before he can even reach for his weapon. The second one turns, reaching for his radio, but Jason strikes, driving an elbow into his temple, knocking him out cold. Silent. Efficient. No alarms. Jason steps over the bodies, approaching the massive doors of Knox's penthouse. Inside, Adrian Knox sits comfortably, sipping a glass of scotch, staring at the Dubai skyline. The room is a statement of power: expensive furniture, priceless artwork, the kind of luxury that no one questions. Knox does not turn around when Jason enters. "I was expecting you," Knox says, swirling his drink. "Or at least someone like you. Spectre said you would come." Jason steps closer, his movements silent. "Then you already know what I want." Knox finally turns, his expression calm, almost amused. "You want Spectre. You want answers. And you think I am going to give them to you." Jason does not respond. He just watches. Knox exhales, setting his drink down. "I do not fear you, Statham. You and I are not so different. We are men who exist in the spaces between power. We do not make the rules, we move the pieces." Jason steps forward, his presence overwhelming. "I am not here to listen to speeches." Knox chuckles. "No, I suppose you are not. But I have something you want. And you have something I want." Jason studies him carefully. Knox is stalling, buying time. "You are not working for Spectre," Jason states. "You are working with him." Knox smirks. I handle money, not bodies. Spectre does not trust many people. But he trusts that I will keep his assets moving, keep his hands clean. And for that, I am well compensated. Jason pulls out his knife and places it on the desk between them. You are running out of time to tell me something useful. Knox's smirk fades slightly. Spectre's final target. Jason narrows his eyes. He is holding someone. A man who should have been dead years ago, Knox says. A former intelligence officer. One of the only people who knows Spectre's real identity. Jason processes this. A survivor. A loose end. Someone Spectre could not kill before. Knox leans back. I can tell you where he is. But I want something in return. Jason already knows what Knox wants. His own survival. Jason grabs Knox by the collar, slamming him against the glass window. The city stretches out below them, lights twinkling like distant stars. Where is he? Jason growls. Knox gasps, struggling against Jason's grip. An offshore prison. No country owns it. No laws apply there. Spectre controls it. It is where he disappears people he cannot kill outright. Jason stares at him for a long moment, then lets go. Knox stumbles back, adjusting his suit. I knew you would not kill me, Knox says smugly. You still need me. Jason picks up his knife from the desk. No, I do not. In one swift motion, he slashes the inside of Knox's leg, severing an artery. Knox collapses, gasping in pain, blood pooling beneath him. Jason kneels down, voice calm. You will live if you call an ambulance in the next 60 seconds. If you do not, you die here. Knox reaches for his phone with trembling hands. Jason does not wait to see what he does next. Jason walks out of the penthouse, slipping back into the shadows. Spectre is keeping his final loose end locked away. That means whoever this prisoner is, he holds the key to ending Spectre for good. And Jason is going to find him. The open sea stretches endlessly beneath a moonless sky. In the distance, hidden from commercial shipping routes, a massive black-site prison ship drifts silently across the waves. No name. No flags. No records. It is a place where people vanish without a trace. Jason watches through binoculars from a small motorboat, the cool ocean wind whipping against his face. This is where Spectre keeps his final loose end. A man who should have been dead years ago. A man who knows Spectre's real identity. Jason secures his gear. No backup. No support. Just him. He speeds toward the ship, cutting the engine before reaching the hull. Silent. Invisible. A ghost in the water. He pulls himself up the side of the ship using a rusted maintenance ladder, slipping onto the deck. Guards patrol in pairs, their movements methodical, predictable. Jason watches, waiting for the right moment. One of them steps too close. A blade slides across his throat before he can react. Jason catches the body, lowering it without a sound. He moves swiftly, eliminating the second guard with a precise strike to the windpipe. Now, he is inside. The corridors are dimly lit, the scent of salt and rust heavy in the air. Cells line both sides, their occupants long forgotten. Men Spectre deemed too dangerous to be free, too valuable to kill. Jason reaches the final cell. Inside, an old man sits hunched on a metal bench, his face shadowed. The moment Jason unlocks the door, the man slowly looks up. Took you long enough, he rasps. Jason studies him. He expected fear. He finds none. Who are you? Jason asks. The man chuckles, rubbing his wrists as he stands. I am the reason you are still alive. Jason's expression does not change. Explain. The man steps forward, his voice low. Spectre is not just an operator. He was your handler. He trained you, built you, controlled you. And when you walked away, he lost his greatest weapon. Jason's eyes narrow, his mind racing. Spectre was not just another shadow in the dark. He was the one who had been pulling the strings all along. Why keep you alive? Jason demands. The prisoner smiles faintly. Because I know who Spectre really is. And that terrifies him. Jason steps closer. Then tell me. Before the man can answer, an alarm blares through the ship. They have been detected. The old man grips Jason's arm, his voice urgent. You were the best, Statham. That is why he wants you gone. Jason nods once. Then let us make sure he does not get what he wants. Grabbing a rifle from a fallen guard, Jason leads the way. It is time to escape. Jason watches the flames consume the prison ship from a stolen speedboat, the fire reflecting off the waves like a burning signal in the night. Spectre will know what happened. He will know Jason survived. But that is exactly what Jason wants. Spectre thinks he is hunting Jason, but Jason is hunting him. The old prisoner's words still echo in Jason's mind. You were the best. That is why he wants you gone. Spectre is a strategist. He does not expose himself. He will send his best men first, making sure Jason is eliminated before he shows his face. Jason has to force his hand. So he does something Spectre will not expect. He dies. Jason plants a body, one of Spectre's mercenaries, dressed in his clothes, floating in the wreckage of the ship. By the time the body is recovered, the world believes Jason Statham is dead. It is not long before Spectre's forces start moving. Jason monitors encrypted channels, tracking their next operation. A hidden meeting point. A decommissioned oil rig in the middle of the ocean. Perfect. Jason reaches the oil rig first, turning it into his battlefield. He rigs motion sensors, tripwires, silent explosives. He studies the structure, narrow walkways, deep shadows, rusted beams that groan under pressure. He knows every weak spot, every hiding place. Now, all he has to do is wait. The first wave arrives. Spectre's best. Mercenaries, ex-special forces, trained killers. They move carefully, scanning every corner, weapons ready. But they do not know Jason is watching. A guard steps onto a metal platform. A silent charge detonates, sending him crashing into the water below. Another rounds a corner. Jason's knife slices through his throat before he can react. One by one, they fall. The remaining men slow down, realizing this is not a simple mission. This is a trap. Jason moves through the shadows, a ghost among them. Every step is calculated. Every kill is precise. Then, the air shifts. Jason feels it before he sees him. Spectre is here. Unlike his men, Spectre does not panic. He does not move recklessly. He does not walk into traps. He waits. Jason circles the rig, his senses sharp. For the first time, the hunter is being hunted. Spectre is watching him, waiting for Jason to make a mistake. Jason grips his weapon tighter, his heartbeat steady. He will not give Spectre that chance. This ends tonight. The oil rig creaks under the weight of the wind and waves, rusted metal groaning as the sea crashes against its base. The night is thick with silence, broken only by the sound of a distant chain swinging against a steel beam. Jason moves like a shadow, every step precise, controlled. He can feel it. Spectre is close. He grips his knife tighter. This is not just another mission. This is personal. A sudden noise. A shift in the air. Jason spins. A bullet zips past his head, ricocheting off a pipe. He dives behind cover as another shot follows, barely missing. Spectre is hunting him now. I trained you better than this, Statham. The voice comes from the darkness, calm, calculated. Spectre. Jason presses against the metal wall, scanning the shadows. Spectre does not waste bullets. He is testing Jason, waiting for movement, predicting his next step. You were always the best, Spectre continues, his voice shifting locations. But you made one mistake. Jason moves low, silent, stepping over a dead mercenary. Enlighten me. Spectre chuckles. You think you can hunt me. But I have been hunting you your entire life. A shadow shifts behind Jason. He moves on instinct. Jason twists just as Spectre lunges from the darkness, a blade flashing in the dim light. Their knives clash, steel scraping against steel. Jason pushes back, but Spectre is fast, relentless. A knee slams into Jason's ribs, sending him staggering. Spectre does not stop. He presses forward, slashing, striking, every move sharp, ruthless, efficient. Jason blocks, deflects, counterattacks. They move like reflections of each other. This is not just a fight. This is a war between master and student. Jason ducks under a slash, twisting Spectre's wrist and forcing the knife toward his throat. Spectre counters, breaking the hold and driving an elbow into Jason's jaw. Jason stumbles back, blood pooling in his mouth. Spectre is stronger than he remembers. Smarter. More precise. But so is Jason. Spectre smirks, twirling the knife in his fingers. You could have had it all, Statham. Power, control. Instead, you ran. Jason wipes the blood from his lip. I did not run. I left. And that is why you hate me. Spectre's smile fades. Jason sees it, that flicker of emotion. That moment of weakness. Jason exhales, resets. He stops playing Spectre's game. Spectre lunges again, but Jason is ready. Instead of blocking, Jason steps into the attack, absorbing the impact, trapping Spectre's wrist mid-strike. A brutal headbutt. Spectre stumbles. Jason does not let him recover. A sharp elbow to the ribs. A knee to the chest. A crushing blow to the throat. Spectre gasps, retreating, but Jason does not stop. He is faster now. More unpredictable. Jason's movements shift, less calculated, more violent. He fights like a man who has evolved past the rules he was taught. Spectre throws a desperate punch. Jason catches it, twists Spectre's arm, and dislocates his shoulder with a sickening pop. Spectre grits his teeth, staggering back, holding his limp arm. For the first time, Jason sees it. Fear. Spectre takes a step back, trying to recover. Jason does not give him the chance. He lunges forward, a final strike, a knife plunging deep into Spectre's chest. Spectre gasps, his body shuddering. His eyes meet Jason's, filled with disbelief. You were never meant to win. Jason yanks the knife free, and Spectre collapses onto the metal floor, blood pooling around him. The student has surpassed the master. Jason watches him for a moment. Then, he steps back, breath steadying. It is over. The oil rig groans beneath them, flames flickering in the distance. Jason looks around at the bodies, the destruction. Spectre was right about one thing. Jason had been hunted his entire life. But not anymore. Now, he is the one who decides when the hunt ends. Jason stands over Spectre's lifeless body, the metallic scent of blood mixing with the salt in the air. It is finished. But his mission is not over yet. The oil rig groans under its own weight, rusted steel shifting with each wave that crashes against it. It is time to disappear. Jason moves swiftly, planting small explosive charges along the weakest points of the structure, support beams, fuel reserves, load-bearing pillars. He sets the timers for a delayed detonation. By the time anyone arrives, there will be nothing left. He takes one last look at Spectre, then turns away. No farewells. No hesitation. He sprints toward the edge of the platform, diving into the cold abyss below. Minutes later, a massive explosion rips through the rig. Fire engulfs the structure, metal shrieking as it collapses. By the time authorities track the wreckage, all they will find is debris and Spectre's body. The world will believe they died together. But Jason Statham is not dead. Somewhere far away, a secure server pings. An encrypted message flashes across the screen. A new contract. A new target. Someone else is looking for Jason Statham. He exhales, slipping into the shadows once more. The hunt is never over.